Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're going to let it rejoice, and we sure enough going to be glad in it on this morning. I am so honored, so elated to have you on here with me this morning, and I count it a great joy to come in where you are, to just come in and have a conversation this morning and just really share some critical points and keys today, as the Lord has dropped some things in my spirit, and some things that I really want to share with you all. I got to do a two-part as God began to really talk to me about this subject, because we're going to have a real conversation this morning. We're going to have a real conversation this morning, and I think that we need to talk about some real things today. I just feel that we need to really have a real conversation. The Lord put some things in my heart that I really need to really share. And as He began to talk to me, I couldn't even type it. Some of this I couldn't even type. But I do know that I need to get this out to y'all. And I know that I need to share a lot of this. So today, I normally don't do this. You may want to share this. You may want to share this. And I just believe that this is going to really help a lot of people. I believe that this is about to really help some people. And I pray that I can get through this, and you guys will be okay. I'm just trying to sign into this computer. And once I do this, I think I'll be cool. All right. So if you want to share it, y'all go ahead on and share it. You may want to get some paper and y'all may want to get some paper for real. But I'm telling you, you want to share this video today. I normally don't do this. Yeah. All right. I pray all y'all are well. Listen, and let me put this out here so I won't be in trouble for this. Our international conference is coming up, and I want you all to consider coming and be a part of it. I realize that we can't put the flyers or any of that thing up after the video, so I want to make sure that you guys will be able to consider coming, and we'll put that up. So I will pray you will consider to want to come and be a part of this wonderful experience of what God does and what He shares every year with Kingdom Empowerment. But it's for all leaders around the world. It's just not bound to just a Reformation. It's bound to all leaders across the country. And I would pray that you will want to consider to come and be a part of what it is that God is doing in that regard. To really just come and just share with some other leaders. I'm telling you, it's gonna be all that. I'm telling you, it's gonna be all that. And I'm not saying it because this is my conference. I'm just saying that I think that it'd be good for us to do that. All right. I named this today. What triggers you? I'm gonna come back tonight, and I'm going to do the other half of it, because I really believe that this is going to be what we need to have in order to deal with it. And that's why I say today we're going to have a real conversation. God, give me the right words to say today. We need to talk about what triggers us. What actually triggers us. I wrote this down, and I want you to please put this somewhere in your spirit, your Rolodex, and this is going to help you. Between now and August 1st, your life will become your message. Your life will become your message. And watch this here. Your life will be your message. You might want to write that down. Your life is your message, or your life will become your message. You might want to write that down for real. So I named this what triggers you, because what I'm coming to find out is that we all, I don't care who you are, we all have had some negative thoughts. We've had some negative emotions, even some positive ones as well, every now and again. But watch this here, especially if there have been negative thoughts. We can choose, hear me, not to dwell on those particular things and let them have control over us. You got to make sure that you understand that God is right now, as I'm beginning to talk to you, God is about to allow you to become a superhero. And hear me, you're about to become the superhero with the name called calmness. Calmness. Calmness is about to be the next human superpower. All right? It's going to be the next superpower. So I thought about it because with a lot of things on my head, a lot of things that I think about, a lot of things that I have to endure, me as a person, I'm pretty sure you as well. We have things that are triggers, and I think all of us in here, if you think about some stuff in your life, it does trigger a certain emotion. If I'm right or wrong, you can tell me if that's true or not. There are certain things in your life that happens that will cause that. And when I thought about trigger, I thought about those who make conversations impossible make escalation inevitable. Let me say that again. Those who make conversations impossible makes escalation inevitable. There is a process. There is a process within our brain that is really like a three-stager, okay? There is a cue, a trigger, that tells our brain to go into some type of automatic mode in which habit to actually use. Then you have something after you have that cue, then there's a routine, okay? And the routine is the physical or the mental emotion. God, I hear you. And then there is what I call a reward, which helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is really worth remembering or whether it's to make you go hard in the paint. So I call it the habit loop. Y'all ain't ready for me today. There's always some type of trigger to make you have an impulse for a certain type of reaction. Triggers are like little psychic explosions that actually crash, and it allows you to become disassociated. Well, it'll bring a dissociation. Let's say it that way. And it really brings a lack to your consciousness. I remember that there's a time, and this is often, where I wanted to get angry because people will push you so hard, it brings a certain trigger. But this is what I come to tell you. Man, woman will find their own structured words, which will transfigure their mindset to react a certain way. Science showed me about this trigger. Because science is a trigger of civilization. Religion is the fail-safe of science performance. Yeah. Okay? So we do not start. If we don't start, nothing will change, because then we're part of that. So something older than us has triggered a certain type of change. Labeling is a lifetime trigger. Okay? So failure of your first attempt does not mean that you cannot be a winner of some of the great battles that you face. It rather means that you must trigger only when your trigger is in focus. Okay? So as God was talking to me, and he started dealing with me even last night about it, because watch this here. Whatever is triggering you is on you. It ain't on other people. It's really on you. And you got to stop somewhere along the lines of allowing certain things to jack you up and start focusing on what you need to be focusing on. So by processing information from the environment through senses, because this is where triggers come from, hear me, the nervous system continuously elevates the risk of it. So the neural perception to actually describe how your neutral circuits distinguish within certain situations when you try to play it safe, whether you play it dangerous, or even if it's life-threatening, your heritage of your own species takes particular places within your brain that brings consciousness awareness. So hear me, to face and defeat a liar, one may trigger a gun of lies. Okay? That makes sense to everybody. There has to be something in your mind to get you off of triggers, to make you begin to say to yourself, I got to know how to move myself from the negative to the positive of it. And the very first part of healing is shattering the silence. I'm guilty of this. I don't know if anybody else will ever admit this or not. I'm guilty that when I'm in pain and I'm processing, I go hide in my work. All right. So watch this here. Hiding my pain and acting strong, afraid to cry or to show my tears. Hear me. I'm struggling with it even years later because I didn't deal with it in the proper process that I should have dealt with it in. I know some of y'all ain't gonna be honest and tell the truth on yourself. So when you feel like that you are above something, or that you really conquered it and you never took the time to deal with it, it will bring certain triggers when somebody else do something to remind you of that particular thing. Out there we go. Here we go. Let's go hit it. Let's hit it. Let's hit it. Some of you right now are dealing with some painful processes because you never took time in your yesteryear to process that pain. You came up with an excuse. You came up with an adage to act as if it didn't hurt you. It didn't affect you. Like everything is good. Everything is okay. And the moment somebody says something, or they do something, or they have a certain emotion, it triggers something that happened in your yesterday. I was talking to a young lady 3 days ago. Never forget, I was talking to her 3 days ago, and she was saying with me, I got an issue with my husband. I said, why you have an issue with your husband? She said, well, I know he's talking to other women. I said, how do you know he's talking to other women? Because, see, my last relationship, my guy had the name under Paul, but it was Paula. So now he has to call back everybody in front of you to try to prove that that's actually Paul and not Paula. That's because you didn't deal with that trigger from yesteryear's past. Are y'all listening to me? And sometimes what we're doing is, until you remove the Band-Aid off to let it breathe and you process it and work through that thing, you're going to jack your life up and you're going to miss the thing that God is trying to put into your life, place into your life, share in your life, to make you walk into a place of awareness of why it is that you need to go through what it is that you need to go through. And sometimes you got to go through a public thing for something that you dealt with in private. All right. So hear me. I'm realizing that even today that they don't directly listen to you. They just hear things within their mind that triggered by your words. Let me say that to you again. Sometimes people are not directly listening to you. They just hear things within their mindset that's only triggering by your words. So hear me. You can say something and they ain't hearing nothing you talking about. They key on one word, and that one word jacks up the whole entire situation of what you're trying to deal with. So I thought about some stuff. Some things that trigger you. Okay, now let's see if this is going to make sense to some of y'all. Something that has made you a trigger that you have. Let's say it that way. Some of you right now, you felt excluded. You felt excluded. Has that ever been a trigger in your life where you felt excluded and it made you go into a place of rage? Being excluded. As God began to talk to me this morning, we could either empathize those aspects with our traditions, our religious, or our secular. They can actually speak hatred, exclusion, or even suspicion that brings a stress within our own self. I know what it's like to feel excluded, to feel like you want to be part of something, but they don't want to include you in on it. This has gone on for centuries. Write this down. If your circle shuts you out, you need to draw a circle around it. Because one of the hallmarks of really true social awareness is being inclusive, not exclusive, when it comes and pertains to your certain places of friendships and relationships with people. If you're only being tolerated instead of being celebrated, you don't need to be around those people. There's an old adage that we used to say, if they love to be around you and hate to see you go, that's an authentic relationship. But if they praying for you to hurry up and go, you might want to take investigation of that relationship. People enjoy things more when they know a lot of other people have been left out. And did you hear what I said? Sometimes people, they don't like you and this person over here don't like you, but they'll come together to overthrow the person that they don't like. Now, they don't like each other, but they'll join forces just so they can overthrow you. Include, watch this here, include every smell, every sound, every taste, every sight in your philosophy, and exclude nothing. Because if you're ever going to get to a place in your life, you're going to have to start beginning to understand that exclusion cannot be part of your space. Okay? Let me put this right here. I need to say to somebody, it's time for you between now and August the 1st. You need to do what the old computer systems say. Control, Alt, Delete. Control, Alt, Delete. Control, Alt, Delete. What do you mean? You need to control yourself. You need to alter your thinking. And you need to delete negativity. You might want to write that down. Control, Alt, Delete. You need to control yourself. You need to alter your thinking, and you need to delete negativity. People right now, it could be you, it could be somebody connected to you, or someone has told you this story. Please talk back to me if I'm talking right. People can feel excluded, unappreciative, and unloved. As a matter of fact, they felt they've never been loved. And the problem with a lot of us today is that we got to get to a place where we understand that we can no longer live in a place of being excluded. And when God talked to me about it, it really just began to make me scratch my head. Because today, this is a common notion that people are shallow, they're being swallowed up, and some people, they are even becoming ignorant until they go out and they actually see the world. Some of you right now will never walk into a new expanded spirituality until you understand that you got to go from being excluded to knowing that you can have your own company by yourself and be loved by yourself. And until we get to that place, we're going to always stay stuck. When I am, you are not. Write that down. When I am, you are not. See, most people avoid thinking that they can. And some of us are addicted to overthinking. But you got to get to a place where you start saying to yourself that you are about to come to this portion of society to whereas you're going to separate yourself. And God is saying that I'm putting the right people around you, that you will no longer have to stay stuck into some stuff that does not mean that you need to be stuck in that various place. Okay, that's number one. I told you, I'm going to probably give y'all at least about 6 or 7 of these, and then I'll give you some more tonight. Is that okay? So excluded, all right? I want to make sure that I write them down, because I got a bunch of notes and I don't want to overdo it. All right. The next thing is something else that triggers you. When something triggers you, it will sometimes bring a powerless where you felt powerless. You felt powerless. This morning when I was washing dishes, I realized that washing one's hands of the conflict between the powerful and the powerless means to side with the powerful, not the neutral. I want to speak a word over your life, and I pray that you'll receive it, that you have the power to heal your life. And you need to know that right now. We think so often that we are helpless when we're actually not. We have always had the power of our mind. The Bible says, let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. The first organ that you got to learn how to master is your mind. That's where that calm and that consciousness will have to be an inevitable point in your life. Right now, I need to tell you that it's time for you to declutter areas of your life. Decluttering is infinitively easier when you think of it as what you need to keep rather than what you need to throw away. Because God is saying right now, you need to start ignoring people who talk behind your back. They belong behind your back. Okay? So you're not going to just always keep saying that you're living in hell all the time. You're going to stop saying that. You got to learn how to speak some power over yourself. In situations of captivity, the penetrator becomes the most powerful person in the life of that victim. And the psychology of that victim is shaped by the actions and the belief of that perpetrator. In our lives, and our main provisional value is learning how to take the time to interpret our experiences and our momentous choices. I am understanding every day that God is saying that you have some of the greatest power. Watch this here. Sometimes your only weapon will be your tears. Sometimes your only weapon will be your tears. Sometimes and watch this here, your tears are actually your place of release. It's not until you release it that you'll be able to have some healing power from it. When you have no real power, sometimes you gotta go really public, because the public is where the real power is. You have got to understand that that you gotta make an agreement. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You gotta make an agreement to actually begin to exercise mutual control over some stuff. The unspoken that is actually man. I want to say this the right way where y'all won't get offended. I got to say this where y'all won't get offended. Powerless people use vicious tactics. That's why they always getting upset. That's why they withdraw. That's why they go to nagging. That's why they go to ridiculing. That's why they go to crying, go to pouting. They go to getting angry. They go to manipulate. Then they try to go punish other people to try to keep them in a certain place. Man, I hope y'all don't get mad at me. That's a power play. To play on people's emotions. Y'all ain't listening to me. And that's how some of y'all right now are walking with this spirit of anxiety. Because it only escalates by the affirming of something that's not actually powerful or even has no control over your life. So any sense of love and safety, they feel like now they got to gain and surrender control to the other person because they think that this relationship is going to help them be what they're supposed to be. There is a relational bond that should be built on mutual control, where you both know how to have a power of submission to one another. Y'all ain't listening to me. Where we can remotely have three things: safety, love, and trust. And it only produces more pain, fear, distrust, punishment, and misery when you allow the other person to become powerless, when you're supposed to walk powerful together. 2 is better than 1. 3 is better than 2. Read your Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes. So it is a sense of powerlessness that destroys a person's soul. You can't be as good as you want to be when you're walking around in the spirit of fear. This is where risk come in, because risk is the factor measured by the man that is powerless to control. I think I'm going a little too deep for y'all this morning. Um, we're going to kill the spirit of Caesar over your life. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Let me help you with a quote. Nancy Murphy, here it is. Here go our next conversations. Lions in a cage don't eat grass. Somebody write that down. Lions in a cage don't eat grass. I'm trying to get off this point. Psychological trauma is an affliction of the powerless. At the moment of trauma, the victim is rendered helpless by overwhelming force. So when the force is that of nature, we speak of the actual disasters. So when the force is that of another human being, we speak actually in a place of where we're giving people too much sense of control, connection, and meaning. So we got to remove that type of thing, because power is confusing for some people. It's very confusing for some people. Perhaps really power can be terrifying for some people, because our relationships with that thing can become an unfortunate beginning. Someone in a position of power over us can use it, they can abuse it, and if they don't know how to use power correctly, they'll use it to their own selfish nature. Let me help y'all real quick. I am now having this spirit where God had did some things to solve. This is what I'm doing with relationships in my life, so they will not allow. So I won't allow them to overtake me. I'm going to be just like God was with Saul. I'm going to let them keep their name and they fired and have no power. So you can think that you're in a certain place with me and you have no power. I'm going to let you keep your name, and I'm going to remove my grace from you. Did you hear what I just said? And that's how you got to do some people. That's how you got to do some people sometimes. Sometimes you got to let them do some stuff, because bemoaning my existence wasn't challenging my existence. Bemoaning my existence wasn't changing my existence. Y'all ain't ready for me. I'm trying to tell y'all ain't ready. God right now is saying, for all of you that are listening to me, that you're about to get your power back. Power is the gem of necessity. Power is the gem of necessity. Without observing power, identity remains undiscovered. Are y'all listening to me? So you got to understand that you are about to get your power back. Oh, you about to get your power back. Matter of fact, here it is. Nancy, sis, Nancy, Pastor Nancy. Here go your Facebook t-shirt. Here it is. Hello, stalkers. I'm still fabulous. Thank you for checking on me. There it is. There go my t-shirt. There go my t-shirt right there. Hello, stalkers. I'm still doing fabulous today. Thank you for checking up on me. Because I'm telling you, you got to get your power back. So some things that have triggered you. What triggered you that made you feel excluded? What made you feel powerless? Here's another one. Another emotion is what had made you feel unheard. What made you feel unheard? I got this quote, and I don't know if it makes sense to y'all or not, but I believe that we have to listen with the spirit to understand, not just having the spirit to just reply. Unheard. It triggers an emotion. When you're not being unheard, it makes you want to go right hard at somebody. And let me correct you. Let me correct you. There's really no such thing as the voiceless. There are only the deliberated silence. And God is saying you're about to start running your mouth. Being unheard. Watch this here. Being unheard is really the ground floor of you actually giving up. And giving up is the ground floor of doing your own self in. It's not so much what's the point? It's more like, what's the difference? Privilege is when your voice is the norm. but you still claim to be unheard. Man. Most things that I pen for a lot of people will remain unheard. Some of y'all right now listening to me, this is going to go unheard and this is going to go unheeded. And watch this. It's not my fault that you didn't hear my cries. If only you would have read my eyes, you would have been able to hear even what my voice couldn't even say. You can't be connected to somebody and not see their eyes. And oh, God help me. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. You're going to have to now get to the place in your life where you're going to have to start saying to yourself, even if I can't say it, you can see it in my eyes, what's going on. And too many of us right now, we can't even see it. Because when you stuck on I, me, and my versus us, we, and them, you're going to miss the very thing that God is trying to put into your life. Let me move on here. I'm only going to give y'all 3 more. Tonight, I'll come back. All right? Tonight, if y'all want me to, I'll come back. What triggers an emotion? Feeling excluded. If I'm talking to you, I want you to say, it made me snap, crackle, and pop when I felt excluded. The second one is when I felt powerless, when it felt like people was taking my power away. Somebody type on the screen, show you right. Number 3, when I felt like I was unheard. It made me jump out of myself. If I'm talking to you, type that on the screen. I double dare, dog dare you. Here go one. This triggers an emotion. When I feel like I'm being scolded. If you led me astray, then my wanderings will bring me to my destination. Yeah. 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 Let me help you real quick. Assuming that you still have some pretenses in that direction, perhaps presumptions, let me say that, is still supposing you're passing acquaintances with your concepts. I'm not going to even speculate what I'm getting ready to say, but some of us right now, you got people that think that they can just scold you and talk to you like you some kind of child. Laughing at their pettiness probably works better than scolding yourself for it. Today is going to be the day where you will never let nobody else talk down to you. Today is that day where you're not going to let nobody take you from you. Today is that day where you get ready to say, I wish you would. Don't come for me unless I send for you. 2 more. Here's another trigger. Judging. How would your life be different if you just stopped making negative judgmental assumptions about people you encounter? I want you to let today be that day that you look for the good in everybody you meet. And I want you to respect their journey the same way you want them to respect your journey. Yes, God. We have spent, people of God, we have spent so much time judging what the other person created that you find fault in any and everybody, and you miss the mark. Actually miss the mark for yourself. God is saying right now, you got to understand that do not judge a man by their opinions, but when their actions have made of them. When it comes to privacy and accountability, people always demand the former for themselves and the latter for everybody else. Judging is preventing us from understanding a new truth. Free yourself from the rules of old judgments and create the space for new understandings. Let me say that one more time. Judging is actually preventing us from understanding a new truth. So you got to free yourself from the rules of the old judgments and create the space for new understanding. You got to do that, y'all. You got to do that. When we are judging everything, we are learning nothing. We're not learning anything. And when you only see people as personalities rather than souls, when life's missions are to fulfill, you forever limit the growth and the possibilities of what God has in store for them as well as yourself. I'm going to close with this one, and I'll come back later, all right? If you like this video, I need you to tell me you like it. I'm helping you all. This is going to be part of my book. And watch this, and I want you to share this with somebody. Tag their name in the video if you know that they have had any of these triggers that I've named just for this morning. And tell them that they don't want to miss tonight. Okay? That's fair? Okay. Here's the last one. Here's the last trigger that I'm going to give you. Blaming other people. Blaming other people. Blaming other people. People who have trust issues only need to look themselves in the mirror. Then they will meet the one person that betrayed them the most. Let me say it again. People that have trust issues only need to look in the mirror. Because there they will meet the one person that betrayed them the most. Y'all, it's time to care. It's time to take responsibility. It's time to lead. It's time for a change. It's time to be true to our greatest self. It is time for you to stop blaming other people. Watch this here. The more you talk about it, the more you rehash it, the more you rethink it, the more you cross-analyze it, the more you debate, the more you respond to it, the more you get paranoid about it, the more you compete about it, the more you complain about it, the more you immortalize it, the more you cry over it, the more you kick it, the more you deframe it, the more you stalk it, the more you gossip about it, the more you pray over it, the more you put it down, the more you dissect, the more it motivates, it continues to root in your brain. Let me prophesy to some of y'all. It is dead. It is over. It is gone. It is done. It is time for you to bury it because it is smelling up your life. And no one wants to be near a rotted, rooted corpse of memories and decaying attitudes. Today, you need to become a funeral director of your life and bury stuff that is dead. I don't think I can help y'all nowhere else. This video is over. Blame does not empower you. It keeps you stuck in a place that you don't want to do no more because it doesn't make the temporary. It's actually making the painful decision to be responsible for the outcome of your own happiness. Have y'all ever got to a place in your life where you just say, you know what? I keep arguing about the same thing over and over again. You know what? This ain't going to change. Let me just shut my mouth because this ain't going to change. You can get discouraged many times, but you are not a failure until you begin to blame somebody else and stop trying. That's your issue. So you got to abandon the idea that we'll choose to become a victor. You got to choose to become a victor. People with a style of denial and blaming are definitely in a life of unsafe people that you need to avoid. You got to stop it. Decisions of character come from understanding that they are accountable to God only, not to your family, not to your spouse, not to religious leaders, not to corporation, not the public opinion of your own ego. Sometimes that you just got to stop that foolishness. You got to stop it. It is good to have reason for every action you perform other than blaming others for your faults. The video is over. The video is over, everybody. I know. I know it's over. Listen, I'll be back tonight. I pray that y'all want to hear me. I pray that y'all will share this video with somebody. Tag somebody in it. This is the kind of stuff I'm going to be talking about at the conference in October 2nd through the 5th. Houston, Texas. I'm going to put the flyer up. Make sure that you see it. Please come register. Please come join and share with me. I'm going to be teaching, training, coaching, motivating, inspiring, and helping people get up off their do nothing to do something. I pray that you want to be a part. God bless you. See you soon.